What is up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on Meltdown Radio Podcast with another episode of the Species Spotlight, where I go and I kind of showcase my hobby in the tarantula field. Uh, Basically, I just go through, kind of talk about the different types of tarantulas I have. I don't spend time on stuff that I don't have yet, or will have gotten. But this time around, I'm going to be talking about the Acanthoscuria Geniculata, and that's the scientific name. The common name for this is the Brazilian white knee tarantula. I currently own a Brazilian black as well as a Brazilian blue. So this one is a newer one for me. This one has like a little bit of brown, but has like white bands around its legs. And again, this is terrestrial New World, so the venom is not very potent, but it can get large, and obviously larger spiders, larger fangs could hurt regardless. But they do kick irritating hairs. And for those that haven't seen any of my other videos, these hairs, like I currently have been dealing with some itching on this hand because of a hair or something that I got, maybe either from that one, because mine right now is only about yay big, and I would show people, but she's currently in her hide. Like, I think she's going to molt again. She's been pretty large, so she'll be molting again soon. They get up to about, I don't know, 21 centimeters for the leg span. They can get to be about the size of your hand after a little while. Obviously, but they're fast growers, and again, like most tarantula species, the females will live much longer than the males. This is a good beginner's tarantula, but again, like one thing you need to learn about the New Worlds is the hair kicking. Even on the webs, like they will lay, their hairs on the webs, sort of like a scent almost for themselves, and but we're going to go in and watch a quick video by Tarantula Collective about this particular species of spider, and we'll give you a little bit more familiarity of what this spider is all about and the beautiful markings and stuff. So let's check it out.
Acanthoscuria Geniculata, or you may know it by its common names: Brazilian white knee tarantula, the giant white knee, or the white-banded tarantula. This is a fast-growing New World tarantula that comes from the northern forests of Brazil. This species can reach up to a solid 8-inch leg span and has been known to reach nearly a 4-inch leg span within a year. Females of this species can live up to 20 years, though males tend to only live about 4 years on average. Being a New World species, this tarantula does have urticating hairs that can be quite irritating. And being a nervous and defensive T, they do not hesitate to kick them. This tarantula would rather retreat to its hide when it feels threatened before threatening to bite, but it is prone to kick up some hairs while it is retreating. Be careful not to get these urticating hairs in your eyes, nose, or mouth, as that can be very uncomfortable and possibly dangerous.
Yeah, and that's the thing I've talked about before with the hairs themselves. Like, you don't want to get them in your eyes. They're like little barbs, so you wouldn't think much about them, but because they can just be like dust almost when they're kicking them off, they get in your eyes, can cause really big problems, and you have almost, some people have had surgery to fix that. So you don't want that to happen. Getting on your skin is a sucky thing because the itching will last for like a month. I have to take regular allergy pills and stuff to keep the itching down and the outbreak, basically. But yeah, once it happens, you want to make sure you wash your hands. Don't rub it on your body. I made a mistake of my Brazilian black. When he got me, I was scratching for a month, and it doesn't go away right away. The itching it's almost like a mosquito bite. You know how like a mosquito bite will itch and then not do anything for a few days, then come back? This is sort of like what this is. So like, I don't know, the hair got in here somewhere, and it's probably from the Brazilian white, because even at this size, I could see that it was still kicking hairs. Like, it still gets annoyed. So yeah, you have to be very, very careful with this stuff because it's so itchy. But it's kind of like when you have an allergy to a cat. Like, you love them too much that you're not going to stop you're not going to stop having cats. You're not going to stop having spiders. I am very much into the hobby. I've really grown to love it a lot. I'm up to 24 different species right now. I did have a couple males pass away recently, but that's expected. But probably going forward, I won't have as many, I think, because I still have some other males in my collection right now. Once they die off, I'm going to focus on purchasing like females. And so those are a little bit more expensive, but at least once I get a female, I know I'm going to have her for a good number of years. I might still raise some spiderlings. You know, you can get some pretty good deals, and you know, get lucky enough to have a female in there. But for the most part, when it comes to like replenishing my own collection of spiders, I'm just going to kind of focus on females and try to go that route, just to be a little bit more. What do I say? It's going to take a little longer to get my collection back up at that point once my males die off, because I want to stick with females. They live longer. I have a few females in my collection, which are doing well, but ultimately that's the goal.
This tea is an aggressive eater and will pounce on any prey that enters its habitat with ferocity and force, making it one of my all-time favorite feeding responses. The only time my white knees refuse food is when they are in pre-molt, and even then I've had some instances where slings and juveniles ate right up to a day or two before molting. The husbandry for this species is pretty typical of all New World terrestrial teas. They require an enclosure that provides more width than height. In fact, providing too much height to a heavy spider like this can be deadly. You don't want the tarantula to be able to climb up the side of the enclosure to the top and have a long way to fall, as they could easily rupture their abdomen and die. I usually fill my enclosures up at least halfway with substrate, sometimes even a little more, and provide a hide and a water dish. This tea tends to enjoy burrowing deep into the substrate as slings, but even with a deep burrow, mine stays out in sight a lot of the time. As they grow larger, they become less skittish and more prone to stay out on display. With their bright white bands contrasting against the deep black of this spider, they are a gorgeous and mesmerizing species. I keep their substrate dry, but once a week I will overflow the water dish to ensure about a third or at least a corner of the enclosure has damp substrate. This species is a very dramatic eater and quickly pounces on its prey, sometimes even rolling itself over in the heat of the catch, so it is exciting to watch it take down prey.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about the Brazilian white knee. He is right though, because it is a very healthy eater, and even at the smaller stage, like if I almost put a cricket almost the size of it in there, and it still took it down. Like even my Chilean rose gray does the same thing. Like that one likes to eat a lot too, but it'll be curious to see how the Brazilian white axe, once it gets larger, because judging by the video, it will pounce on food. And I have my Hispolian giant bird eater. That one, like I literally cannot. When I feed her, like I have to kind of throw it towards the back of the enclosure, because she just throws herself at it. Like you'll see in that intro video where that other spider, like it looks like it might be a bird eater as well, is jumping to the food, even if it's like a few, like a foot away. That's what my bird eater does. And if I were to try to feed it close to the opening of the doors, she would jump out literally trying to get it. And I can't have that. Not that she's poisonous or anything, but she's very defensive if I try to fuck with her too much, just because they're protecting themselves, they don't want to be bothered. So when I put food in, I put it towards the back, and she'll just jump at them and she'll grab them. Like even if she has one in her jaw, she'll go and snag another one. So very healthy eaters, and the Brazilian white knee is going to be very much in the same vein of how it feeds and all that stuff. But they're all beautiful. Like if you ever seen any of the Brazilians at all, Brazilian blue, very gorgeous looking creature. Brazilian black, jet black, velvety black hairs, and of course their white knee is just very cool with the white bands around it. Like one thing when Kevin Levitt and I did the video for the movie Tarantulas, the Deadly Cargo, watching that movie now as opposed to back when I was a kid, I'm able to kind of identify the spiders a little bit, which is kind of cool on my end. We figured there was some Brazilian white knees in there as well as the Mexican red leg as well, because they're very docile spiders and very easy to work with in terms of like handling and stuff like that. So it makes them good candidates for movies and stuff like that when you want to just have spiders crawl on you or whatever. So great beginner spider, obviously. Again, as he said in the video, you want to make sure that your height isn't too high in your enclosure. Mine and my current one for my Brazilian black probably should be a little higher than it is, but it's not super high. I've moved him away since I had before. He's in like a regular plastic one now. I just try to move the males to non-sexy enclosures because I know their time is limited as far as like lifespan. So been keeping the females in nicer enclosures for long-term stuff. But I'll tell you, some of the spiders I have, I picked up a black femur earth tiger not too long ago, and she is like just webbing the fuck out of her enclosure. I'm just like, I can't even open the door. She's like webbed around, so like I have to go through the top screen to drop prey in there and stuff. But some of them are just heavy webbers, and it's like once they get around to the doors, you can't even get in. Even my feather-leg baboon does the same thing. Like I keep trying to get her to go to the back where the bark is and make a home back there, but she'd rather stay up front where the door is. And I'm like, I don't need you running out on me. But yeah, so the hobby itself is a lot of fun. I've been having a blast with it, and I'm glad to show you all some of the spiders that I actually own. Like I said, I would have some video of my white knee, but I just moved her to a newer container. She's getting larger. But she's kind of like sealed herself into her bark as she's going to molt soon. Obviously, that's her plan. She was getting pretty big as it was before I put her in there. So I think she was kind of happy to have a little place to go and hide and in a molt in. So that's it. Yeah. Let me give you an idea of those stuff coming up on the channel as well as where my appearances are. Later today, around 1-ish or so, probably more like 2 when I get it uploaded. Kevin Lambert and I are returning with the Cinematic Synergy this October. On his channel, the entertainment headquarters is Fear of the Wolf. Between him and I, we obviously are doing a lot of werewolf films reviews. He's handling most of it because that's kind of his thing. Last year, if you paid attention to his channel, he had the month of the vampire, he's a big vampire guy. So he kind of dedicated this year to me and the wolves and the werewolves, which he does like. But, again, he's a vampire dude. But he's handling like a good amount of movies in the werewolf genre. In fact, Saturday, he's doing the live one with Fear the Wolf, where we're doing the entire Howling franchise. And so we'll be talking about those films later today, though, in Cinematic Synergy, my channel, my show. He's always my co-host on that, and we're going to be doing The Wolf of Snow Hollow. And then later this evening, Mr. Tony the Dead and I are going to get back to our Ghouls of Midnight picks. I've chosen Allegoria from 2020. And he has VHS Halloween from this year that we're reviewing, and we'll have those up when we can. Then Saturday night on Ulven's channel for Silver Screen Savants, it's going to be a fun time. Even though it's considered my pick, it's actually more Geek's pick, who's going to be there with us, as well as I think Jedi as well, to review 1980's The Fog by John Carpenter. So that's going to be there with that. And then, of course, Sunday, I'll be joining Jedi again on his channel for a review of Galaxy of Terror, and I think it's 1978. I'm not sure the exact year, but I think that's it. But it has some early roles for guys like Robert Englund and Sid Haig, horror icon legends in the genre. So I'll be looking for that review on that, and then of course I'll update you all what's going on beyond that. But thank you all. Appreciate the support as always. Hit the like button, subscribe, Let me know what you think about the Brazilian white knee. Do you like that type of spider? Are you in the hobby? Let me know what you got, and I'll be glad to listen to you and hear what you have to say. Anyway, thank you much. See you all later, and have a great rest of your day.
You see me for you.